So it wasn't until I got pregnant in 2015 that I was like, oh, shoot, I can't work out for 90 minutes. I am exhausted and I can't for me to burn 500 calories right now, like I am making a baby. Like I can't do the things that I want to do, that I used to do. And that was so frustrating and also isolating, especially since I had this now fitness community online and nobody else was pregnant. And everyone's like losing weight and here I am gaining it. And you lose that sense of control over your body. That's how I experienced it, or part of it, right?
Let's reimagine mom life together. Mama Has Goals is your hub for relatable support and helpful resources that help you fuel yourself alongside motherhood. Your identity is bigger than mom, and whatever your goals are, together we're making them a reality. Today I have such a special guest for you. We really dig into what does it mean to be fit and how do you find your level of fitness alongside motherhood? Whether you're already a mom, you are at the end stages of kids in your household, motherhood, or you're just thinking about it and getting started. Kim is an energetic mom of 3 and a fit pregnancy coach. She designs at-home workouts for new and expecting mamas so they can stay fit during and after pregnancy. And it all started when she was frustrated with boring pregnancy workouts and she wanted to find a fitness routine that gave her a feel-good burn and a boost of energy. During her second pregnancy, Kim received her prenatal and postnatal fitness specialty certification and created her own quick and effective workouts. Now she coaches women all over the world and is featured on Motherhood, The News Daily, and She Finds, and The Guardian. I absolutely loved this conversation. Kim is such a breath of fresh air in the sense of, hey, here's how I do it. Here's reality. Here's what's Instagram. She also has quite the following on Instagram and shares the behind the scenes and the accountability alongside her day-to-day life. So definitely buckle up, listen in. I cannot wait for you to get some of your own fitness inspo behind this. Kim, I am so excited to have you here. As we were talking before I clicked record, I've binged so much of your content just as a mom. I feel so seen and it's so relatable. And I can just sit there and be like, yep, me too. And anything from the kind of more emotional side where you posted something recently where you're saying like being a mom is like doing everything that matters and nothing at the same time. And then also on the flip side of just like the funniness of like how we're just having a whole new budget for snacks and everything else. So this is just a shout out to go follow Kim. If you're like, I want to know all the different levels of motherhood, you do such a good job showing that. So just thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I love putting out that type of content. It's just like, it's fun, but also relatable. So we're hitting it.
Yeah, so much. So more professionally, you are a fit pregnancy coach. And I would love to just start with, what does fit mean to you?
Ooh, that's a great question. I feel when I'm fit, I have more energy and like just movement is easier when I am fit because we all had those days or maybe like stretches of time where your fitness is just taking a back seat. And I don't know about you, but I have felt so sluggish, more tired. The thought of exercise just feels even harder because you're so out of it. So that's, I guess, what fit would mean to me right now is being able to move and have that like sense of freedom almost with it and that boost of energy, which we all need as moms.
Yeah, so much. And I know for me, my idea of fitness, I think, changes day to day and season to season. Where I'm like, okay, if I did this today, I would be proud of that fitness. And then maybe a week from now, it means something different depending on what I have going on. So I love that you kind of speak to, it's more about the feeling than what you're doing, right?
Absolutely. That's something I'm a huge, like that is the backbone of it. It's how you feel, not what you look like. Because I think there's so much association with the fitness industry and like looking lean and how much you weigh and fat loss. I hate words like that because there's so much more to it.
Yeah, I love that. So bring us up to speed. How did you get started in creating these videos and cultivating this community for moms to find their own feeling of fitness in themselves?
Okay. So I used to be a fit chick. I was like a gym girl back in the day, like pre-kid. And like you were talking about earlier, you have different ideas of like levels of fitness. I was like, you are not fit unless you're working out for an hour and a half. And if I didn't burn 500 calories at the gym, I was like, it doesn't count. It's a little extreme. It's not the healthiest relationship, but I was in shape. Let me tell you that. I joined Instagram because I wanted to connect with more people who were into health and fitness. And in my like personal bubble, I didn't have a lot of that. I felt like a weirdo for wanting to work out. And I'm talking 2013 to 2015. Fitness was turning a new corner online, right? Like people were starting doing like these bodybuilding competitions and posting about, and I never did that, but I loved watching it and learning about all this. And I had played sports all my life. So I just knew movement as an outlet, and I just continued that through the gym. So it wasn't until I got pregnant in 2015 that I was like, oh shoot, I can't work out for 90 minutes. I am exhausted and I can't for me to burn 500 calories right now, like I am making a baby. Like I can't do the things that I want to do, that I used to do. And that was so frustrating and also isolating, especially since I had this now fitness community online and nobody else was pregnant. And everyone's like losing weight and here I am gaining it. And you lose that sense of control over your body. That's how I experienced it, part of it, right? And then this community that I had online, I went to a couple like mini meetups like way back in the day, and my account just slowly grew. Meanwhile, I didn't tell any friends or family about it still. It was a secret. And then during my second pregnancy, then I started seeing more of my online friends getting pregnant, and they were saying like, hey, what kind of workouts are you doing? I'm pregnant too. Like, how are you modifying your workouts? And that's when I got certified in postnatal fitness. And I came out with my Fit Pregnancy program. That was 5 years ago. And then my account grew from there. My family eventually found out what I was doing. Yeah. And I had no reason to hide it. But like, I'm so glad that I did it the way I did, because I didn't have to worry about like being embarrassed posting online, because it was a bunch of strangers. Isn't it funny like how we are so comfortable just opening up in front of strangers? But then when it's like your neighbor or your sister or friend from high school, you're like, oh gosh, I hope she doesn't see that.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. And then I came out with the postpartum program. And as my fitness changed and grew and my motherhood journey changed and grew, I added onto my programs and to my suite. And now we're here. And it's so fun meeting other moms like you and being able to connect with people online.
Yeah. And like you said, anything that you do, sometimes you have to do it before you're comfortable with everyone else knowing about it. But it's so important that you took that first step, because now you've impacted thousands of women, hundreds of thousands of women by your workouts and just sharing your journey. For your approach, it was, hey, I have this fitness background and now I need to see how that fits into motherhood. Now, some people are coming from the motherhood approach and they don't necessarily have a background caring for their body or taking care of themselves. What would you say to that person that's maybe like, this is new to me, can I even start now?
Yeah, it's never too late. It's never too late to start something new.
Yeah.
Think about even starting a business. Someone that's like, I've never done anything in this industry. It's never too late. And that's why starting small, like getting out for a stroller walk 2 or 3 days a week, you can start there. And just because like we think working out, like you have this bigger idea of what it's supposed to look like, it literally could be dancing in the living room with your kid, or like doing a little running around in the playground in the backyard, doing some squats. Like it doesn't have to be fancy. I always say it doesn't have to look cute.
Yeah.
You just got to move your body and just get in the habit of having that intentional movement at some point in your day where you're like, I'm going to take the next 20 minutes and I'm going to do this little circuit. Maybe you're doing a workout video and the kids are just playing, and just finding a place to put that into your routine, because once it's in your routine, it's easier to be consistent with it.
Yeah. And often I hear myself say this and women in our community, I'm already so tired. I already don't feel like I have any time. What can you speak to that actually working out sometimes can give you more energy and give you that boost that you need to get through the rest of the day?
Yeah, I mean, it can. And this is something that I struggle with too, because I can be so hard on myself, but also so the opposite. What's the opposite of being hard on yourself? So easy on myself. It is like I am full of excuses, but I've gone to the point where it's part of my routine, like doing laundry. Like it doesn't ever end. You just have to do it regularly to keep up with it. Maybe it's only twice a week. Maybe it's every day, however it's going to work best for you. But yeah, a lot of us, who has free time? Show me a mom who's like, I'm looking to start some new hobbies because I've got all this time sitting around. We just don't. And it's about making it a priority, which I know is not the easy answer. It's not what everyone wants to hear, but you really have to make it a priority if it's something that's important to you. And again, starting small, 3 days a week, 3 days a week.
Yeah. And so often that can come from being motivated, right? And for a long time, because I was healthy enough, I'll be honest, like I didn't have a ton of motivation around a fitness routine. So how do you find motivation to show up on those days that even if you have created your routine, you're still just not motivated?
That's where my online community comes in. I have to have that accountability, and this is something I totally made up in my head. But I think it's partially true. I think of the girl who goes on her Instagram and it's now 9 or 10 a.m. Like, oh, Kim didn't post her workout this morning. She must have taken today off. Like I always think there's someone there waiting to see me. And that is what motivates me. And honestly, some of those days too, just the act of putting on a sports bra and sneakers is half the battle. Because once I'm dressed, I just have to press play on my workout and follow along, put on some music and start going through the motions. And once I'm moving, it's like a snowball effect. The energy grows and I feel better. I always feel better when I'm done. And even sometimes that energy is like still blah. Like I'm still like, this is hard. I don't want to do it. At least I did it. Like I finish it and I'm like, you know what? It's not always going to be cute, but we got it done. I can check it off my little list.
I love that you bring that up because it doesn't have to be a perfect workout every time. Like just showing up, a workout. Maybe it's a new thing, but that just showing up is enough sometimes. And you're a mom of 3 girls, 6 to 2, and you even have a program of working out with your kids, which sometimes that's the only way you can get it done. But we also talked about how sometimes you want your own space and doing it there. Regardless if your kids are watching you do the workout or not, how important has it been for you to take care of yourself for your girls?
Oh, it's crucial. Just for me, it's more mental even than physical. It just gives me more focus. It helps with brain fog and just clarity. And like, obviously there's chemical reactions in our bodies, right? Endorphins are being released. It's great for your hormones. You're going to sleep better. Like it is such a self-care act to exercise. And yeah, I need to do that for myself. It's just as important as sleep and brushing my teeth and everything else that our doctors want us to do to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. You mentioned having a routine. I'd love for you to unpack that a little bit. What does a typical Monday look like in the life of Kim Perry?
Okay. I have an ideal routine and then I have what actually happens. So my ideal routine would be wake up before my girls do in the morning. So it could be between like 5 and 6, maybe a little after 6 if I'm lucky. And then I want to start my workout as soon as possible because the girls are going to be getting up. And now they usually do wake up very shortly after me, but I just need that little bit of a head start to set the tone for myself because when they wake me up, it's so different. You're just meeting demands from the second your feet hit the floor, even before that. But yeah, so I like to start with my workout. I'm trying to get them ready shortly. Like I'm wrapping up my workout, getting them breakfast. I'll have my morning tea. If it's a school day, which I know right now it's a summer, so it's not, but generally it is a school day for all 3 of my girls because they go on Mondays and we get everybody packed up and ready. And my husband takes them to school, which is like my favorite part because then I'm like, I have alone time, I can shower. And then I start checking in online. I post my workout for accountability. And yeah, I usually get to work on Mondays. I release an episode of my podcast on Mondays. And it varies, like the workload. And then the girls basically come back from school. It feels like a snap of the fingers and they're back. And then we have our family time.
That's amazing.
But on the days when I don't have, or the girls don't have school, not even during the summer, but the school year because they only go like half of the week, I really plan for that. I plan for, I'm going to be a present mom today. I cannot get any work done. If I do though, it's like bonus. So when my oldest, she's in kindergarten, but she'll be in first grade this year. When she's off to school, I'll have the other two. And I try to fill our days with activities. I try to get out of the house because it just makes the day better. I think we go a little crazy when we're in the house all day.
Yeah. And I think just like we were saying with even stroller walks for moms, like getting outside, moving your body, we know how that is so important for our kids, especially I really think at any age, it doesn't stop, but for some reason we emphasize it more for younger kids. And it's just as important for us moms and adults too. I know in my postpartum season and then friends that were in that season after I said, the two things that I think you can do that are best is get outside, even if you're just standing there out front on your front steps of the baby carrier, and take a shower and wash your hair. Allow yourself to have those two things that you need to do. And you also brought up your podcast. I want to make sure we're definitely going to link that below, but the You're Glowing podcast, definitely go listen in. And so you also brought up at the end of the day that you have some family time. I'd love for you to expand on that a little bit more. What does that look like? Some nights, most nights.
Okay. So for us, we make dinner. I lied. My husband makes dinner every night and we have family dinner at the table that like we both did that growing up. That's really important to us. Yeah. But even like before we sit down for dinner, we're just playing. We have a pool now, which is so nice. And the girls will just splash and play together in it until we tell them like, you got to get out. We got to eat. We got to go to bed.
Yeah.
And even if it's just watching a movie, settling in, and then we have our bedtime routine, it's very like routine. But at the same time, like I love it so much. And I think that's where like we hold a lot of those memories. Isn't there like a saying about it? Like those little moments are the ones that like, that make up your life. That's what you're doing every day. And that's making up a big part of your life. So we're putting our phones down. We're spending time with the kids. We are swimming in the pool, eating yummy food and cleaning. Honestly, like we do a lot of clean. It's a lot of cleanup.
Because again, that supports you being able to show up and allow yourself to enjoy those little moments when you don't have chaos and clutter around you more than we already always have. You mentioned that your husband helps support dinner and you talked about you making sure that you have time for your workouts so that you can show up as your best self. For the mom that's listening that doesn't feel supported, how would you recommend making yourself a priority or communicating that you want to make yourself a priority and receive support from others, even if it's not your partner, but someone else in your life?
I think that is such a key part, just having that open conversation of like, I need support in this area. This is something I'm wanting to work towards or wanting to implement into my routine. And then also giving them the exact steps that you're looking for. If you leave it open-ended, a lot of guys, honestly, will be like, oh, I always support you. What are you talking? You'd be like, okay, well, this is actually what I want you to do. I want you to hold the baby and go upstairs so I can't hear you. And I just need to be alone in this room. You're going to be upstairs. Here are 3 books he likes to read. And then this doll, be very specific. Yeah. So that's my biggest thing is like the communication.
Yeah.
And then having a plan set up for yourself because it's really difficult when you don't have that support. And I honestly, my husband's name is Justin, not that he didn't support me in the beginning, but he didn't always get it with my business, but also with fitness. It was like something people like joked about if I ate a certain way or like he never understood like why I ate so healthy. Meanwhile, now he's on a really strict diet and he's eating healthier than like me most of the time. And he works out every night after we put the girls to bed, which I do not have the energy for that. But back in the day, he was not like that. So you really putting yourself out there and asking for support and taking the steps to show that this is something you want to introduce to your life might have a big impact on that person and everyone around you. Because if they see you doing it and you staying strong and sticking it out, even though people might be like, oh my God, is she really eating a salad with chicken instead of this pizza? That is stuff I dealt with for a long time. And now I feel like it's so much more normalized living a healthy lifestyle. So I will support you. If you need someone to support you, let me know.
Yeah. And I love that you're just talking about going first, because there's so many areas in life where we don't communicate and we don't go first, and we expect everyone else to support us, know what we need, and for them to go first and for us to follow. And we don't sit there and say, oh, I want to just follow someone else, but you're almost waiting for that permission or that guidance. And that's where I think following people online like you allows people to see themselves in someone else, and your inner circle probably isn't going to be the most supportive. It's probably not going to be the one that's reaching their hand out and saying, hey, here's exactly how I'm going to work out this week and you should come with me. Who are some people, and you don't have to give their names, but if there is someone specific, great, let's shout them out. What are some concepts or people that helped you stay inspired when you didn't feel like you had your close circle rooting for you?
I mean, there's so many online between just like women and then just people like us. And then also Karina and Katrina from Tone It Up.
Yeah.
Have you heard of them?
Yeah. I love them. Yeah.
Like they have been around for a long time. And I remember they were the first ones that really made me feel like normal. Oh, there's people out there like me that want to work out and they think it's fun. And because in the past, like it was like, oh, gotta work out, gotta go to the gym. But there are these girls who were like so excited about it and made a whole community and brand around it. And I thought that was really cool. So they kept me going. And then just there's another girl that I followed like from the start. Her name is Leah Peters. And I've also watched like her journey changing girl. But from the very beginning, I just was like the way she showed up online, and she was so knowledgeable, and like she just loved the science of fitness so much. And like, I learned a lot from her. Those are like just some of the names that like popped into my head when you were saying that.
Yeah, I love that. So with young girls, you said that swimming is something that you guys do. And I know you're traveling a lot right now. What are some of your favorite activities as a family or as a couple that aren't just sitting, eating, and drinking? Some things that you guys like to do that support that healthy lifestyle and maybe create some memories along the way.
Okay. Honestly, Justin and I feel, not that we feel like bad parents or guilty, but we don't have our kids in any sports right now, which like I was at sports basically from when I could walk. I was doing dance, gymnastics, tennis, softball, like everything.
Yeah. And
he did too. At least what like our parents could afford, they put us in sports. But now here we are as parents and we're like, that's a huge time commitment. And we're going to have to do what on Saturday morning? Like all day? Oh, wow. We are just not ready to commit to that, because once we know we're in it, it's for life. Like until they're in college, like it's not going to stop. Actually, though, it'll be interesting to see, because my oldest daughter, like I told her to pick a sport because their school does offer like little programs after school. And she's like, Mom, sports make me sweaty. I was like, oh no, here I am like an athlete, and my husband like was active his whole life. I'm like, are we going to have a kid that hates sports? What do we do? Sign her up for music lessons? I don't know. Anyways, what we do, we're outside a lot. Like living in Florida definitely helps with that, I will say, because when we were in Massachusetts, we were not getting as much movement in as we are now because we were snowed in half the year.
Yeah.
But just literally getting outside, the girls love their scooters. They started riding them. My youngest at 18 months was riding a scooter, and they just ride up and down the driveway. They play all their little games. All we have to do is kick them outside and they will just start running around. So if we take out we do have tennis balls and rackets. We have not learned how to play tennis yet, but just like taking out a new ball or a soccer ball. And like you said, the pool, we got a rope swing in the backyard, which has been really fun for the girls, but also for me and Justin. It's just fun. It's like we look at it as like a playground, and like moving doesn't have to be sports. It could just be playing. Those are our things. And then also I do bring the girls not to gymnastics lessons, but the gymnastics place has an open gym time for toddlers, and they love it. They just get to climb on everything. And isn't it crazy how kids just love climbing on things, whether it's a couch or a vehicle. My kids will climb on top of the roofs of our cars. Like, please don't do that. But they just need that. They need to get that out of their system. So gymnastics, we like to take them there too.
I love that. Now, when it comes to other adults, what are some ways that you encourage other friends in your life to have positive habits, and how do you make time for each other? Again, maybe doing things a little bit differently. Is there anything, do you go on walks or hikes with friends, or what are some ways that you stay connected to adults while still allowing yourself to stay healthy?
This is a tricky question because I feel like I'm in the season of life where I'm not doing a lot of socializing with my friend. Like, it's just not happening as much as I would want it to. I do like to go on walks though. So when my sister, she doesn't live too far away, but when she comes, we like to get out for a walk if we can. Just the two of us. I remember walks. Like, I hated when my mom wanted to go on a walk. Now I'm obsessed. I'm like, oh, we could go on a nice walk and like drink our coffee. Like, that doesn't sound like so much fun. So yeah, I do like walks. I started going, I asked for my birthday for this dance studio nearby that is like going viral on TikTok, and it's like right down the street from my house. I asked my husband, I'm like, can you get me those? For like passes. So like I've brought my friends there when they come to visit. Aww. So if I had more time and my friends were closer, we would do stuff like that, like dance class, or I'd be like, hey, want to meet up for this free yoga? Because in Sarasota too, there's so much free fitness, and it's all like outdoors. Yes. There's like free Zumba on Wednesdays, free yoga, sunset yoga on Thursday. Join the boot camp class on Saturday morning. There's always something to do. And as my schedule changes and grows, I will be attending more of those because it's just fun to be around people and move together.
I love that so much. And having more of an online presence, I'm going to guess that you find a lot of those things online. But for someone that isn't as familiar with how to find those things, how would you recommend that they search what may be in their neighborhoods or locations?
That is a great question. I feel like a lot of people have like the Facebook neighborhood type of groups, and that'd be a great place to like ask within the community if you have a Facebook group like that. The events that I am referencing, a lot of them are held at like community spaces. So at the mall, they do a lot of like indoor stuff at the mall, but also outdoor on this like green turf area. And I go on their website to find it, and social media. Yeah, just a lot of Googling.
Yeah.
And I feel so fortunate because there are a lot of events like free and close by that I can go to at different days or times that will meet my schedule. And then another thing is to consider, might not be for everybody, but if you're noticing there's nothing in your area, why not host it yourself? Why not put it in that Facebook group? Like, hey, I'm going to go for a 2-mile walk or 3-mile walk on Wednesday morning. If any moms want to join me, I'd love to push my stroller next to you.
Yeah. Having that background in fitness, you didn't just go, you know what? I'm going to end up starting a business. I have all this business experience. I know exactly how to just launch my whole online platform and everything. And I'm just going to wake up tomorrow with 190,000+ followers and be able to do all of this. So to the person that's listening, that's like, well, I couldn't start something like that. I wouldn't know how to do that. Or how would I don't have any followers. No one would come. What would you tell that person?
I would say there are people out there just like you saying, I wish there was a group. I wish I could go meet someone for a walk. There's people out there waiting for you to put that post out there or send that invite.
Yeah.
There are people waiting for you, and you'd be surprised. And a lot of other people are like, they might have the same thoughts of, oh, but no one would come if I did it. And take that as an opportunity to prove them wrong. Like, I would come if you invited me, and now you're going to come because I'm inviting you. And it does start small. Like I always say too, I had to put out a lot of rough drafts before I figured out what was going to like click. and it's a little cringy. You can cringe at yourself, but know that the first time you put out an offer, or you try to create something or get people together, like almost expect it to flop, because then it'll make it easier to know that that's your rough draft. And now the next one's going to be better. You're going to have like experience of like, whoa, what could I change? What could I do differently? And it's all about growth.
Yeah. You have to learn by doing and figure it out. And that's part of the journey. I'm sure you've had people not say nice things or have judgments, especially people you don't know, with comments and whatnot. How do you manage that, knowing that you're still a human, you're going to have feelings and you're going to be like, well, that wasn't nice, but also knowing that it's not someone to give your energy to?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm really grateful because my community is just kind and nice and uplifting. We're all like in this boat together. However, sometimes if my posts go viral, there will be a negative Nancy in there, or you know what it is? I feel like it's just not perceived. Like they just don't know me and they just totally took it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And for that, like, it's just so easy for me to be like, oh, they didn't get it. Like it wasn't, that was not my intention. And I can try to explain myself, but what is it worth? Honestly, too, though, like thinking about the person that it bothered them so much to respond to that. It makes me kind of sad thinking about, oh, this is all they have to do, like to troll me on social media or to like write a rude comment, or I don't know. There was one time though, and this is another example of it. I got a message from like a social media friend, like we were friends. And she messaged me and it's like, hey, just want to let you know that there's this, like, someone screenshotted your post and posted it in this private Facebook group and they're all like hating on you. And I was like, what? And I was like, wait. And I was like, what's the Facebook group? She was like, oh, I don't want to tell you because I don't think it's best for you to go in there. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But what it was, the whole post was about like finding your fitness post-pregnancy and like regaining your confidence and feeling into your new body. And they took it as like bouncing back, which I hate that term, like getting your body back after baby. But it's supposed to be an empowering message, not like you should look a certain way after you have a baby. And they just thought that and took that and twisted my words and like posted it on Facebook. And I was like, okay, you know what? They can think that, but it makes sense. Like if someone is frustrated or upset in a certain area of their life, and then they are using that thought as goggles, and then everything they see, it's all, see, she's saying I'm supposed to look like that and blah, 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 blah. It's hard when you have like the hater glasses on and then everything is negative.
Yeah. And I think that shows up in everything, right? So if you're sitting and you're like, gosh, I just don't even have time to work out. How would I work out? You're not going to find the time because you're just already telling yourself you don't have the time. If you're saying like, oh gosh, I could never start a business or I could never do that, it's not going to work for you. If you're like, why would I get that promotion? They're not going to promote me because of this, or I'm not going to find the right partner, or any of those things. That's going to end up being your reality, where if you allow yourself to believe in the possibility, you can find the time to work out. You can find a way to get that promotion. You can find the people to support you. You know, buzzwords can call that like manifestation, which there's that, but it's also just reality, like attracting what you put out there. Where have you seen that come to fruition in your life?
Okay, so like one of the stories I tell myself is I don't have support. Like and which is not true because my husband is very supportive. He's hands-on dad and husband and definitely supports me in my business. And I think it started when I had kids and I just realized like, oh my gosh, it's so much. Like I feel like I can never rely on other people. If the babysitter's sick or if one of my kids is sick, like I always have to be there. Mm-hmm. And that's something I'm trying to navigate through instead of I don't have support. It's no, this is a season of life where my kids really need me. And I am like full on mom mode right now. And I have to really step into this. And I do have support. But like we were talking about, like if I keep saying I don't have support, everything that happens, I'll be like, oh, see, I don't have support. Geez, you know, the babysitter canceled. Oh, I'm never supported. We're trying to make that story make sense in all these different areas. So that is the way I'm working through the negative side. But then on the positive side, I love manifesting stuff. I haven't done like a specific one. And actually, no. Okay, let me tell you. I have so many stories, but I'll just tell you the most recent thing. I started manifesting in January. I was like, I want to work with athletic clothing lines. Like I literally, as of January 2023, no clothing lines are reaching out. Nobody's sending me stuff. But typically, like I have a lot of companies will reach out like, hey, will you try our vitamins? Will you try our protein powder? Will you try this, that? And it's been crickets in like the clothing line. And I'm like, I'd love to make a partnership with clothing lines, like not my own. Like I want to just really support another brand. I want to have, instead of maybe Lululemon one day. I cannot tell you how many brands started reaching out to me just this spring. Just like a month in April, I bought myself, I was like, I'm going to treat myself. So I was like, and maybe this was like the little nail on the head. I started ordering some clothes for myself. And then as soon as I did that and said, I'm going to do a review of these clothes, like I'm going to take the initiative. I'm going to buy this for myself.
Yeah.
Don't you know, the other brands are like, hey, can we send you a package? Hey, can we do this partnership? So one of them I'm working with now is Petula. And I have a code Kim Perry if you want to save on their stuff. It's amazing the quality of these. I don't want to call them like small business or like an Instagram shop because they're bigger than that, but they're like not quite at the Lululemon level, but they have that quality. So Petula, it's like P''Tula, Petula. And then Athleta reached out and they want to work with me and Ayla, mostly Ayla. And then another brand, which I cannot name because it is not official, but it's a pretty big deal. And just the fact that I was intentional about it in the beginning of the year and said, this is what I want. And I like pictured it. I pictured what I could do for them. And I started thinking about it and their social media posts, I was liking them and it just came to fruition. So I didn't have it in the beginning of the year and now just it's here. It has arrived.
Yeah. And the layers of that, right, is the positive mindset behind it and knowing that you're deserving, that you're worthy, that it's going to come to you. But two is the action, right? That you took the steps, you bought the clothing, you started to post for a brand or whatnot. And then you also were like, okay, the brands that I want to work with, I'm going to go engage with. Like, I'm not expecting them to just come out of nowhere. I'm going to do the work and I'm also going to manifest this like positively.
Yep. And reaching out to them as well and not just like, why is no one asking me any questions or like asking for my shipping address? No, you have to introduce yourself. Tell them why they should send you stuff or work with them, I should say.
Yeah, a partner and collaborating. And I think everywhere that shows up, right? And that's actually kind of where we started, right? We talked about communication and showing up for yourself and communicating what you need. And that's how it's showing up in the business world too, is that if you don't reach out and you don't show initiative and you don't put yourself first, whether it's working out, whether it's in your business or anything else, you're going to have a different result come at you. Kim, this has been such a good conversation and I definitely will have you back. We could talk all day, but I know talking about collaborations, when this airs, you're going to have a big collaboration live. So I would love for you to talk a little bit about that and any other way that our community can connect with you and be in your world.
You are so smooth with your transitions. Like, I need to take some notes on this. Yes, I'm doing a collaboration and this is like the first. I've never done anything like this before. So basically Soul CBD is my favorite long-term partnership supplement brand. And they have CBD gummies that I take just every day for like the internal balance. I say it's yoga for my mind. It is not hallucinogenic. There's no THC. It is very much a supplement for your nervous system. I love it. And everything tastes delicious over there. And I came to them with an idea. I was like, can we make a flavor? Can we make a Kim Perry flavor? And it is launching on August 1st to my community. So I will have to get you the link, but then it'll go live to the general public on August 14th. And it is rainbow sherbet flavored.
Ooh.
I am so excited. They're delicious. They're so good.
They're so good. And I love that you bring up like there's no THC, because definitely I am guilty of being one of those people when CBD first started gaining traction. I was like, oh, that's probably not for me. Totally great if you're into all in the above. But I was like, okay, that probably isn't for me. And then I learned so much more about it, how it can support sleep, how it can support just if you're having like a tough anxiety day, things like that. And it just allows you to calm a little bit. So definitely go check out Soul CBD. Angie's also amazing and such a great product and everything she does. How else can moms get into your world? I know you have your 3 levels of working out, and you have 3 main workout programs and videos, and then you also have this new program launching.
Yeah, so I have my signature programs. So whether you are pregnant or newly postpartum, I have programs available with complete schedules that'll take you through each day, what you're supposed to do. You just click right on Monday, day 1, I'm going to do the workout, and it takes you through the entire thing. And then you can also check in with me in there. I'm trying to think of what else is included. Depending on which program, there is nutritionists involved in the program. So you get that as well. It's a full comprehensive. We're not just doing pregnancy, gentle stretches and core. We are doing total body weights, cardio, HIIT workouts, yoga, like in the pregnancy program, but also same thing in the postpartum. And that's called Abs After Baby. That is my go-to. That's my go-to. That is, if I'm doing that if you see me on my stories, I'm probably doing a workout from Abs After Baby. And it takes you from those early postpartum weeks when you're just starting out with breath work, reconnecting with your core, all the way through motherhood. And then I have my VIP option. It's my membership called Mom Fuel, and we upload new workouts every month. I do live Q&A so we can really just hold each other accountable even more. I know a lot, like social media I talked about, that's where I get my accountability from. I like to post in there, but that's not for everyone. So you can come to Mom Fuel in this safe community of moms just like you. And you don't have to be a mom. I have future moms in there as well.
Yeah.
But you can post your workouts or maybe you're early in your pregnancy and you don't want anyone to know. This is a safe space for you.
I love that. Support for every stage, and beginners that aren't working out actively now and those looking to up level as well. And something I love to know is, what is something you're currently working on, a goal that you have, or something you're excited about?
What am I? I've started my podcast this year, so I am hoping to grow it even more. And it's just been such a fun outlet. Like, I love this, what we're doing right now. And it's something that it's just fun. It's just a fun thing for me to do. And I look forward to it each week. I look forward to recording and pressing publish and hearing the feedback and just being with my audience in a different way.
Amazing. So everyone, definitely go over and listen to your glowing podcast. And Kim, it was so great to have you here. Thank you so much for pouring into us.
Thank you for having me.
Your story, and what you have to offer this world fills me up. I want to meet you. Join me on Instagram at @ThisIsKelseySmith, and let's create a ripple effect for mamas with goals. Together is better.